I have audio. Awesome. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? If you realize that this is day two, good to see you, sir. Day two of the reporting workshop. And I think many of you are actually not aware of that we had a day one in the reporting workshop, but we did because we have extended the reporting workshop from 1 day to 1.5 days because many of the people were giving feedback that they were not given the opportunity to go sufficiently deep into the projects. So yesterday at Lindholmen, the other side of the city, we actually had a half-day session with several really interesting tracks on generative AI, on regulatory compliance, which I know is a favorite for anyone here in the room, or maybe not. We had stuff on, what else did we have? Digital twins. We had some other things going on as well. So it was a really successful day, and I was really happy to have so many people there. But today we are in day two. This is a full day of the reporting workshop. We have a super exciting program, and I'm incredibly grateful for the two keynote speakers and all the other content that we have coming up. So that's really, really going to be successful. And we decided on a theme. Did you see what the theme for today is? Yeah, the theme for today is the end of software engineering. And Malin felt that that was too negative, so then we added between brackets as we know it, because that felt a little bit more proper. So that was at least the idea. So I just wanted to remind everyone, if my clicker would just play ball here, which it apparently doesn't. Here we go. This is Software Center, 15 companies, 5 universities. I think you're all aware of the center, but for those of you that are not, I wanted to remind all of you, come on, clicker, do it. We also, and this is where Malin comes in, have a Vinova Competence Center called CODIC that we got funded last year. It took us about a year to get all the legalities in place, but we're about to ready to start hiring PhD students. So that's the process that we're in the midst of. And then, come on, yes, we have a number of very exciting collaborations going on. One of them is with Gate AI, which is an institute in Sofia, Bulgaria. And we have very wonderful collaboration with several people in that center. And two of them are actually here, but I'm trying to figure out where you are. There you are. Sorry, Boris and Enshia are sitting here. They've been working with Boeing. They've been working a little bit with Ericsson. It's very much in the AI space, test case generation, RAG, fine-tuning of models, and those kind of things. So please come in the poster session and have a look at their stuff too, because they are doing really cool things, and I think we can have a lot of benefits of the collaboration with Gate and specifically these two fine specimens of the human species. Let's put it like that. Eindhoven University of Technology, which I just got corrected on because I thought it was Technical University Eindhoven, but that's how you say it in Dutch, not in English. We have one of the keynote speakers from there today as well. Of course, Hagenberg, AI Sweden, Lindholmen Science Park. Where are you, dear gentleman? He's sitting over there. And we have other competence centers and, of course, the International Software Product Management Association. So we have all kinds of really good stuff going on. I asked ChatGPT to create a picture that would illustrate the end of software engineering. And this is what I got. Who wants to live in this world? So I thought it was actually kind of funny. And then, of course, I had it add this as we know it, because what I think is happening, and for those of you that were here yesterday, sorry, you're going to see a bit of repeat of the slides. On the one hand, there is amazing stuff happening on the AI front, supporting what we're doing with software engineering. We have things like code generation, test case generation, and it looks familiar. Yeah, we have architecture design, we have requirement specification, we have validation, and all of these things are actually fully autonomously or heavily supported by generative AI. So that's on the one hand, that's happening. On the other hand, many of the companies that we work with are actually suffering from an enormous amount of regulation that is hitting them. I mean, of course, everyone knows about GDPR, but there's also the Data Act, the AI Act, the Product Liability Act, the Cyber Resilience Act, the regulation of cybersecurity and software updates, and the list keeps going. CRA is one of the things that Christian talked about yesterday, cybersecurity. What is CRA? Cyber Resilience Act. That was this thing that I was looking for. Thank you for your help. Yeah, so, and according to one of the presenters we had yesterday, a company like AB Volvo is subject to at least 250, if not 300 regulations. And all of those things need to be managed and integrated and brought together. And that is really, really complicating things. So that is, I think, if I look at how software engineering is developing, this is how traditional software engineering worked, in my view. We have an intent, what the thing we want to accomplish with the system, that we translate into a set of requirements, that then is translated into a design, that is converted into code, all offline or during design time, and that then generates a system that we can put in operation. That's at least how we traditionally thought about software. Where I think things are going, and I got this confirmed by our first keynote speaker because he's working with a company in the Netherlands, and they came to roughly the same conclusion, and he will probably expand on that during his talk, is basically what we're going to do is we're going to define the intent of the system, and then the system itself will figure out how do I measure, how do I quantify the outcomes that this intent actually represents. It will generate requirements, it will generate design and code, and then we have the system in operation. And all of this is actually in a fast feedback loop where the system itself, maybe using various AI technologies, will fully autonomously basically generate and regenerate parts of itself in order to update itself to a new context or to other constraints that we're putting on the system, or whenever we change the intent. We have things like reinforcement learning. Yeah, next week we have one of our PhD students graduating on the federated learning, reinforcement learning, and federated reinforcement learning. Yeah, so here we have a technology where parts of the system behavior are fully autonomously experimented on by the system itself, with the intent of finding and measuring the best way of doing something. At least that is how reinforcement learning works. And we have worked with Ericsson on that, on basically positioning flying base stations optimally in disaster areas. And the simulations are really, really powerful. We get really nice results, not just for one, but even for multiple drones that are flying. Another thing which is now, of course, happening a lot is that we go from the very generic, broad LLMs. Welcome in. There's lots of space for you. We kept it for you. Yeah, so we have from these broad generic large language models, what we see increasingly is that people are starting to look into vertical AI agents that are basically in different ways optimized for a specific job, a specific task, a specific domain, etc. So this is where I think, and other people with me think, that software engineering is going in the long run. I don't know if it happens this decade or the next decade, but I think we're in process towards this future. In the meantime, what I think we're going to see is that we're going to do some of the things on the left offline, so during design time, and some of the things will increasingly come towards the right side of the system. I mean, Helene and I have worked for the longest time on getting companies to quantify the outcomes that you're actually looking for. I mean, if you want to do anything around data, A/B testing, or anything like that, you actually have to quantify what you're looking for. Otherwise, you can't do anything. But we believe that this will be, for a good long while, the way to think about software engineering. And then, of course, I had to ask ChatGPT, what will the fabulous future of AI-driven software engineering look like? And this is what it looks like. What do you think? Looks good? I showed this to some people, including Helena, who said, but we're still at office sitting behind a desk looking at a computer screen. Something's wrong here. So I think that that's a fair observation. But in any case, yeah, so I thought that this looked a lot happier than the first picture that I showed you. For today, and I'm going to open up for the keynotes, we have a really exciting program. I'm super happy about that. I will, in a minute, introduce our first keynote speaker, Professor Mark van der Brandt. After that, I hope we have people from Magna in the room. There he is. Good to see you again, gentlemen, sir. But we have a short presentation on that. After that, we will get community updates. So you know that we community and theme updates. I think you know. Hey, good to see you, Christoph. That we have, and then we go into the poster and mingle session at 11:30. until 12:15. And then after that, Cecilia, we will have lunch. And lunch is on your own, right? Or did we order anything?
No, we didn't order.
We didn't order. So you're on your own for lunch. Why? Because the steering committee of Software Center decided that if they had to choose between feeding you or feeding a PhD student, they rather fed a PhD student. I know you're all very disappointed and you think they took the wrong decision, but you have to talk to your steering committee member in order to fix that. Then after lunch, I am super happy to have Anders Artek here, who will talk about the AI maturity journey. He's been in several organizations, basically scaling from me, myself, and I to large AI teams within the company. I will introduce him a little bit more this afternoon. Antonio Martini is there, and then we have some parallel tracks. Before we go, and it says panel, but it's actually going to be a fishbowl. You all know what a fishbowl looks like, right? Maybe not. A fishbowl is, we will always have an empty seat here. We will have a few starting people on the seats. We will discuss the end of software engineering. The moment anyone in the audience wants to insert themselves into the discussion, they walk up. They sit down on the empty seat, and then someone who is already sitting there has to leave. And then we can get a constant flow and rotation of people that are all wanting to discuss the end of software engineering. Cool, right? Okay, now you all look, come on, a little bit more enthusiasm wouldn't hurt. I'm trying. And then finally we close at 10 to 5 and then we're done. We have 3 parallel tracks going on. I will start at the bottom. The future of software and systems modeling. Jan, Carlson, what are you going to do? Yes. Do we still need modeling or will AI all fix it? Yeah, so I hope for the people in the room you could hear me. Then if we go one level up, Miroslav isn't here yet. I think he had something else to do, but it is about AI-supported digitalization, and it's specifically about quantum computing. We have some people from IBM and a few others coming in to talk about. Lena looks really surprised. Talking about what the state of quantum computing is. Quantum computing, in my view, has been the technology that has always been ready in 10 years. And that has been the case for decades. Yeah, I think that people remember that. But the input that I'm getting from a variety of different people is that there is now so much happening in quantum computing, and we're having so many breakthroughs that it actually looks like it may turn into a very useful technology in the foreseeable future. And that's why the steering committee, after the strategy workshop in August of this year, basically asked us to start to look into quantum computing and do an assessment of if, and if so, when the company should engage in that. Now, I know that Boeing is involved in that work already, and I think you're going to be involved in that session. I think Ericsson was also going to talk a little bit about what they're doing in that space. So if that is your triggers your fancy, then definitely come to that. There will also be some work on generative AI. And now I have to start to wrap up. And then Helena, what is Dare to Dream all about on this data thing?
Oh,
Oh,
oh, I got a microphone. So this is a session where so typically when we talk about data collection and not the least how to use data, it's very easy to slide into a discussion where everything we imagine are either regulated or very difficult to do. So in this session, we are going to start from the assumption that there are no regulations, no limitations, and what, if so, could we do with data? So Dare to Dream, that's the title.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Helena. Yeah, I hope that feels like a good use of your time during today, and because this is all I have to offer. But I want to wish you all a very great day. Thank you very much.